Pipin's lungs then start filling with fluid. This fluid comes from his bloodstream and moves into the lungs. By reducing his heart rate and by conserving energy through reduced muscle movement and oxygen consumption, he's able to make that single breath hold last the 6 to 7 minutes that are necessary for him to complete this excursion.
That kind of control has taken years to develop through yoga and various forms of meditation.
You have to know a lot about what's going on inside of you. Like, I concentrate a lot in my heart and in my circulation and how my heart is bumping and all of that.
Before Pipin ever gets into the water, every step of the dive has been planned and rehearsed. Frank Pomero supervises the safety divers, who have volunteered to put their own lives in jeopardy to ensure Pipin's safety.
They're there not only for support and to make sure that nothing does go wrong, but if in case that it did go wrong, they know exactly what to do. They're the unsung heroes, in my opinion.
One of the most important and dangerous assignments for a safety diver is the spot just below Pipin's deepest point. He is the designated bottom man.
It's no place for making mistakes. It's no place for fooling around.
Gustavo Vivas, an airline pilot from Ecuador, will be the bottom man for the record-breaking dive. It is a critical but lonely assignment.
We always joke and tease that fellow, saying that by the time he gets out, everybody's already inshore. So he usually misses the show.
But Gustavo's most important job is gas expert. He creates the special mixture of helium, oxygen, and nitrogen the bottom divers will carry in their air tanks. Regular compressed air, which most scuba divers use, is toxic at the depths these divers work.
If the mixture is wrong, diver can get seizure, can get oxygen toxicity, or death.
During Pipin's dive, these safety divers are stationed at various depths along the route, from 30 feet all the way down to 450 feet. On the practice dive, Mauricio Moreno only spent 10 minutes at the bottom, but he spent nearly half an hour returning to the surface. Pipin, on the other hand, surfaces in less than a minute during a record-breaking dive.
What you have to do when you go down that deep is you have to ascend very, very slow, and then you have to do several stops in the way up. Sometimes I want to, I don't know, take a magazine or something, because you get bored.
On the day of the dive, Pipin's team is up early, inspecting the cable that will guide the sled down. Boatloads of the curious surround the yacht that will serve as Pipin's base. With little fanfare, he gets in the water and begins to hyperventilate. With one final deep breath, he flips the release on the sled and plunges into the water. Coming up next, trouble on Pipin's world record attempt. And later on, making a gentle giant of the sea feel right at home on land. Pipin dives into the waters off the Pacific coast of Mexico on his quest to become the world's deepest man. As he sinks deeper into the darkness, Pipin's body begins to change almost immediately. His heart rate slows down to 40 beats a minute, half the normal rate, and blood begins to flow away from his arms and legs into essential organs, bringing life-sustaining oxygen. It's called the mammalian diving reflex, and until breath hold divers came along, it was mainly the province of seals, whales, and dolphins. The reflex simply allows deep diving mammals to stay underwater for long periods of time by slowing down their heart rates and redistributing oxygen-rich blood from other parts of the body to the brain. Through rigorous training, Pipin has learned to develop this reflex to astounding levels. As the sled plunges to the bottom 435 feet below, he must continually equalize his ears and sinuses, fighting 200 pounds per square inch of water pressure. Suddenly, there's trouble. Safety diver Mauricio Moreno watches as Pipin comes dangerously close to the edge of a rock wall.
I was really concerned because I saw the line. I saw the line going more and more and more and more towards the wall.
Mauricio has only seconds to act. The camera on the sled captures him trying to warn Pipin.
and I pull the line against the wall with my body like this, looking up to see Pipin passing. Then the exact second when Pipin came, I released the line like this. That's why Pipin didn't hit the wall.
Pipin's team knew about the wall, but they hadn't realized the boat had drifted dangerously close to the rocks. Pipin reaches the bottom and a new world's record, but he's still not out of danger. He must now surface quickly. A balloon on the sled automatically fills with air and shoots him back to the surface. 435 feet down, scuba divers are at mandatory decompression depths. But not Pipin. He's been holding his breath, but the air in his lungs has compressed. And as he rockets to the surface, that air is expanding rapidly. If he doesn't release the right amount of air at the right time, he becomes vulnerable to the diver's killer known as nitrogen narcosis. Filled with pride and relief, one of the safety divers greets Pipin with a hug and a kiss. A collision with the rocks below could have killed Pipin.
After the event, when we all got back and sat around, you could see the expression in everyone's face, the relief, you know, the happiness, but at the same time, the folks that have been working for months to put this together, the relief in their face. And even in Pipin, you can see the relief in his face.
And after conquering 435 feet, Pipin says 500 feet isn't far.
I'm going to try to. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think I'm going to get there somehow. Whales and seals and all that, they dive down to 1,000 meters. And the human being is only able to dive to 130. There's got to be something wrong with that.
It is a challenge Pipin lives to overcome. This passion fuels his dangerous, some would say reckless journeys to depths no human has endured before. But Pipin has taught us what a wonderful machine the human body really is. That perhaps our only limits to living among the dolphins and seals is our endurance and our imagination.